for small game hunting from around the state, along with the latest fishing success from this past weekend. Fred's out of the state this week, and he told me to cover the Michigan outdoor news, and I'm going to bring you as much as I can in the next half hour, so stay tuned. I'm Zachary Trost with lots of news and information for the practical sportsman in Michigan. There have been a lot of interesting headlines in the past couple of issues of the Michigan Outdoor News on a variety of topics. I'm going to cover the waterfront in the next few minutes, starting with an article by Associate Editor Tim Spielman, who reports that a Texas organization called the National Waterfowlers Registry, a new organization that promotes waterfowl hunting, thought it would be a good idea to encourage more hunters to concentrate on shooting drake ducks rather than hens. Who could disagree with that? Just as in pheasant hunting and turkey hunting, wildlife science says that shooting the males of a species has far less impact on future reproduction than shooting hens, the ones that lay the eggs to boost the population. The National Wildlife Registry wanted to encourage more hunters to focus on drakes by randomly selecting 64 band numbers that were put on ducks in the 4 North American flyways and offering prizes to hunters who managed to bag one of these ducks. One band number from each of the 4 flyways would be worth $250,000. They called this idea the Mega Duck Challenge and felt that if more hunters shoot drakes, it would help the duck population, and if more hunters returned bands to the U.S. Department of the Interior, the government would have more scientific data on ducks in North America. Tim Spielman's article explains that the Department of the Interior objected to this Mega Duck Contest idea because if more hunters sent leg bands back from the ducks they took, the contest would skew the federal data, so the National Wildlife Registry canceled the Mega Duck Contest. Isn't that strange? The government encourages hunters and fishermen to cooperate by returning data, but now they're saying that too much data is bad. Go figure. Here's an article that probably will surprise you because you haven't heard anything about this wildlife problem. It has to do with mute swans. Those big white swans you see swimming around ponds, chasing off Canada geese, and sometimes chasing people. As correspondent Linda Gallagher points out, the mute swan is not native to this country. First introduced to the state from Europe in the early 1900s as a decorative waterfowl, Michigan currently has more mute swans than any other state in the country. Since they've been introduced, they've pushed out the less aggressive trumpeter swan, which the DNR is trying to reestablish. Gallagher reports that wildlife managers in Maryland, which has an estimated 3,600 mute swans, recently asked for a controlled hunting season to kill up to 1,500 of the big birds, which are said to eat millions of pounds of aquatic grasses vital to the health of the Chesapeake Bay ecosystem each year. Michigan doesn't have such widespread problems, but DNR wildlife biologist Mike Bailey is quoted as saying, "Here in Michigan, despite the fact that we have a large population of mute swans, the problems are more isolated. But in some of those problem areas, mute swans are a big problem." Michigan has somewhere between 3,500 and 4,500 mute swans, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has given the Michigan DNR permits to euthanize up to 300 mute swans this year. Gallagher reports that the Little River Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians, based in Manistee, was issued a permit this year from the Federal Regulatory Agency to kill up to 25 adult birds. The Mississippi Flyway Council wants to reduce mute swan numbers in the Mississippi Flyway by 50% in the next 7 years. Linda Gallagher reports that in past years, fewer than 30 mute swans a year were euthanized by DNR personnel. Shooting of any mute swans this year will be carried out by the DNR's Law Enforcement Division. Which brings us back to the headline that mute swans are not likely to be hunted in Michigan in the immediate future. Here's an article in the current issue of the Michigan Outdoor News that will probably be of interest to some people. It has charts and statistics and all kinds of scientific data on the subject of whether eating wild game is really better for us than the food we buy from the supermarket. I won't go into any of the details. If you're interested, you can read what Dr. Steve Bruning, a leading authority on prehistoric diets, has to say. As you might guess, his premise is that everyone interested in maximizing their health should seriously consider eating as much free-ranging wild game as possible. The dietary data supporting Dr. Bruning's conclusion are covered in excruciating detail in this article. While these articles and a lot more news and information for sportsmen can be found in the Michigan Outdoor News, which is available on the newsstand or by subscription.
I'm masking off where I want my dirt to end.
What's that stuff?
Special secret mixture. If I tell you, I'll have to kill you.
So where do you get that moss that you put down there?
Hobby craft store.
The moss?
The moss store? Yeah, there you go, Joe. You've been there, haven't you?
7070 and 6644. Yes. Is this snow you're putting on?
It's to give it a frosty, like early morning frost type of look. That's by blowing it. Like a hairdryer just blows.
This week's featured county occupies an area that was originally part of Shiawassee and Washtenaw counties, and it was named after Edward Livingston, Secretary of State under President Andrew Jackson, and also Minister to France. It's Livingston County, located in southeastern Michigan's Lower Peninsula. Livingston County is located at the crossroads of I-96 and US 23, which puts it within 1 hour's drive from Detroit, Flint, Ann Arbor, and Lansing, which is a good thing because the county only has 6 jobs for every 10 residents. Today, Livingston County is one of, or may be the fastest growing county in Michigan, although it has not always been that way. In the early 1800s, following the War of 1812, the federal government offered free land to those who fought in the war. A federal survey in 1815 reported the land was extremely wet and the soil was unsuitable for farming, so most veterans took free land in other states. The state of Michigan did not see things the same way, partially due to the fact history indicates both the Potawatomi and Chippewa Indians had farmed in the area. The state ordered up its own survey and found that much of the land was very well suited for agricultural purposes. This prompted the state to begin selling parcels for $2 to $3 an acre rather than give it away. And hell! I almost forgot about hell. Hell is located in Livingston County, and there are a couple of theories of how it became known as hell. I like the one that goes like this. A farmer by the name of George Reeves found the soil for farming to be good, so good he had bumper crops of grain, and so much grain he decided to build a distillery to convert this extra grain to whiskey. George was asked just what he thought the town he founded should be named, and George reportedly replied, "I don't care. You can name it hell if you want to." So on that note, sit back and enjoy the Livingston County Fish and Game Hall of Fame. We're going to feature on our next Fish and Game Hall of Fame, Berrien County.
About has to be Magnus Vermagnuson to hold this baby up here. Keith Burgum from Leonard was just hunting in September and ran across a 6x6 elk.
Yeah, he scored Boone and Crockett 367. So
That is, I don't think I've ever seen an elk with that big of a beam on it. Holy crap, man! That looks like a tree or something.
yeah, he was big. He was big. I really didn't know how big he was until he was down, and
What did he weigh?
don't know. We butchered him on the spot. We have to. We can't move these things.
Okay, well, you were out in Boulder, Colorado?
That's correct. That's correct. National Forest.
Man, this is a dark rack and a huge one.
I spoiled a lot of ladies' evening that day because he had 40 cows with him. So they were scattering as I was shooting.
Now hold it. You think you spoiled the time of 40 cows? You
yeah.
think this one elk was going to do 40 cows?
Yep. You got it. That was his harem. That was his harem.
Whoa!
Oh yeah.
Is that how you lost all your hair?
Yeah. Yeah. This was shot with a muzzle loader.
Man, that is absolutely incredible. I really don't think I've... What is this rack weigh?
I have no idea. I haven't weighed it yet.
Go ahead and press it.
Oh.
Oh, man. He is a macho man. Keith Burgum, that is outstanding. Thanks for bringing that down. That one colossal elk. Way to go. Now, this handsome man here holding this fish, this is a channel catfish. You know, that's a channel catfish with a pretty big belly.
Yeah, because he was eating chicken livers all day.
I see. And where did he get those chicken livers?
My friend Craig tossed them out.
Oh, sort of chumming is what that's called. And you were fishing a lake, Tipsico Lake in Oakland County in August. This is an 11-pound, 13-ouncer. That is huge. And you caught that by yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Now, your name is Draven Kopis. Draven. That's an interesting name.
Yep. Sometimes they call me Mr. D.
Mr. D. I see, Mr. D from Highland. Well, that is awesome. What do you enjoy about fishing?
I like when I had to fight the fish. I was fighting this catfish.
I believe you. How long did it take to get him in?
I think 2 hours.
You just wailed on him. Well, Mr. D, I'm impressed. Congratulations there. That is a huge catfish. Way to go.